Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, I'm going to be telling you guys 10 things you need to know before you end up buying the Lampadati Novak in Grand Theft Auto Online. So we've made it through all of the unreleased hidden drip feed vehicles from the Diamond Casino and Resort update, and this is the final vehicle on the Legendary Motorsports site. So I'm not going to lie to you guys, I've kind of been saving this vehicle for last because I know that it's probably the least exciting out of all the really fun supercars and muscle cars and off-roading vehicles that were added in this update, but it certainly does fit the theme of the Diamond Casino and Resort, which is all about sort of the high life and luxury lifestyle. But anyways, getting back to this vehicle on the Legendary Motorsports site, you can see that it is there at $608,000, easily the least expensive of all the ones added on this website. And if you're wondering what this vehicle is based off of in real life, Lampadati most closely resembles the Maserati brand, and this is most closely related to a 2019 Maserati Levante GTS. And in real life, this is actually a really beautiful vehicle. Maserati always makes amazing looking cars, and this is no exception right here. So don't write off this vehicle just yet because it's an SUV and because it's a four-seater and because it's not a crazy fast supercar. Rockstar's description for this vehicle is pretty funny too. They say, no, you didn't misread anything. This is a Lampadati and an SUV. At the same time, why? Who can say? But if someone tells you they crossbred a thoroughbred racehorse with a hippo, do you question their motives? No, you buy it, take a selfie with it, throw it in storage, and start bragging to your friends. What an amazing description right there of this vehicle. So let's begin by actually taking a listen to the engine sound and getting a look at the interior of this vehicle. So it actually doesn't sound half bad. The interior, of course, is pretty modern, as you would expect in a sort of luxurious SUV like this. But anyways, let's bring this car into the Los Santos custom shop and get it customized. It actually had more customization options than I thought, 19, which is pretty good for an SUV. So we actually begin with our bumpers. And you do have a handful of options here. You can add a splitter, secondary splitter, carbon splitter, street diffuser, race diffuser. There's a handful of options that you can add to this vehicle. And same with the rear. You can add a camber diffuser, street diffuser, all in carbon options, race, touring. So some pretty cool stuff that you can do to this vehicle to make it a little bit more sportier than normal. I was trying to go for a more like normal street look, so I didn't add like a ton of super upgrades to this car. From there, you've got exhaust, you've got big bore, twin titanium, twin angled, and twin split box. I thought the stock exhaust looked the best, honestly, so I decided to keep that. You've also got a lot of hood options too. You can go for a vented hood, street hood, cowl hood, which in my opinion looks absolutely ridiculous, but to each their own, and you might find it looks pretty good on this vehicle. Now from there, we have to modify the liveries on this vehicle, and I actually really like the liveries on this car. The first is white stripe, which is as simple as it gets. It's sort of two white stripes, one big one sort of thin offset white stripe on the center of the car that goes on the hood, the back, and the trunk. The next one after that is black stripe, which is literally the exact same, but instead of it being white, it's obviously black. I like how simple that is. Again, it's just a black stripe down the center. After that, it's Lampadati Racing. I really like this one. It basically is a modification of black stripe, and then you've got that like peacock on the back with Lampadati in one on sort of the front doors. It's really cool. And then towards the bottom of the vehicle, you get this like black gradient up the car. I don't know. It just looks awesome in my opinion. Now, I'm not a huge fan of like super race car liveries on like an SUV, but I do like the livery itself. Now, after that, it's Mind Mock, which again, I also like as well. You've got the MindMock logo sort of printed on the side of the car with the MindMock text as well. There's a couple of other sponsorships too, like Life Invader, Atomic, and eFriend, whatever the heck that is. And then you've got the MindMock logo on the front of the vehicle too. So that's MindMock, and then the one after that is MindMock Painted, which is literally the exact same livery, but Rockstar chose to make like this bright pinkish purple color, which certainly looks interesting. So if you wanted to have a nice splash of color, well, there you go. That is MindMock Painted. After that, it is Zero Gas. And Zero Gas is, again, like you would expect, the colors of the Zero Gas, which is the black, the light blue, and the red. And it's sort of like this arrow chevron gradient from front to back, where the front of the car really doesn't have anything on it. The one thing I have noticed on all these liveries, Rockstar really likes using that number 1 Lampadati on the door. Like, they haven't moved that at all. And also the Atomic Tire liveries right above the front headlights, which I think is pretty funny. Now, the final couple of liveries all have to do with the in-game soda brands or beer sponsorships. This first one is Sprunk, which of course you can imagine puts a lot of green on the car, but it also has like this digital effect as it gets closer towards the front of the vehicle. I think it looks okay. Again, not really amazing on this car. Might have looked a little bit better on a more sportier vehicle. After that, it is Stronzo. I actually like this one because, as you guys know, Lampadati is based off of Maserati, which is an Italian brand. So the Stronzo works really well because you've got the colors of the Italian flag right there, and the green, the white, and the red. So I do really like this one. I think there's kind of an unnecessary amount of sponsorships here, but either way, it does look pretty good. E-Cola is our second to last one, which I think looks a little bit ridiculous. Again, maybe on another vehicle it would look better, but this one's just got like this weird sort of design on the hood, and it almost looks like it's cartoony, but in a weird, trippy way. So I don't know how I feel about this one. And the final one is Burger Shot, which again, I really like. I like the blue and the red and the burgers and the sort of checkerboard pattern on the roof. But I just feel like this is the wrong car for liveries like this. I feel like I would want something a little bit more classier or simple. So I almost decided to not go with a livery at all. But at the end of the day, I decided on the simple white stripe. Now from there, we do need to decide on our primary and our secondary colors. The primary color, as you can see here, changes pretty much the entire body of the car. And the secondary color is going to change the mirror, and then, of course, any other secondary options that you decided to choose. I'm actually kind of surprised on this vehicle that you cannot modify the interior, and nothing you do on the outside of the car has an impact on the interior either. So no interior changes for the Lampadati Novak. Now, after that, you've got roof options. You've got a roof rack and a carbon roof box, which is an interesting sort of look. Now, none of those add any traction bonuses. After that, you've got skirts, where you've got a couple of different options there, like carbon lip, some street skirts, race skirts, if you want to make it super fancy. Believe it or not, this car actually has a spoiler option, which is kind of cool. So by default, this vehicle technically has a spoiler with the stock spoiler, although that doesn't give you any traction bonuses. You have to actually update to one of the other options in order to get any sort of traction bonus on this vehicle. And some of the spoilers are pretty simple, like incognito. Others are a bit more noticeable. Some are even like super simple, like on the trunk. So that is kind of cool right there. Now after that, we move on to the wheels of this vehicle. You can see that they are chrome so that they cannot be changed via the iFruit app. But you can also find a very similar wheel option in the SUV category. It's called Laws Speed 10. They look really similar to the stock rims that we put on there. So again, if you want to change the color, keep them chrome, you can. So now that we've got this vehicle outside of the Los Santos custom shop, let's take a look at how all the doors on this vehicle open. Obviously, the passenger, driver, rear, front, and back all open. Hood opens, as you can see, and the trunk opens like a normal SUV does too. And then as far as the headlights on this vehicle work, they're actually really cool. You've got like two sets. You've got this like Adidas looking logo, and then you've got like this bright bulb. Unfortunately, modifying the headlights or going from bright to not so bright doesn't actually change how the headlights look. It just simply gets brighter. And the taillights are actually kind of cool too. It almost looks like it's a glaring eye, which I think is a kind of a really fun shape. So now let's get this vehicle out on the road. And I was actually impressed at how quick and snappy this vehicle felt. Now, I certainly don't know if it's going to be the fastest SUV in the category. In fact, I don't even know what like all the SUVs are, because I know some trucks fit into the SUV category, and I know there's some older vehicles from like 2014 and 15 that are still pretty quick in the SUV category. But it did feel rather snappy. And I didn't even put a spoiler on there. I disliked all the options so much that I opted against one, and it still was handling quite nicely. So again, I don't know how many of you guys are doing SUV races. I'm pretty sure it's a very small percentage of people that might happen to be watching this video, but regardless, if you do happen to do an SUV race, I think you'll be in all right hands. And even going from point A to point B around the city or to the Diamond Casino and Resort, I think you'll be A-okay. But anyways, that right there is 10 plus things you need to know about the Lampadati Novak before you end up buying this luxury SUV in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are your thoughts, opinions, and more on this vehicle? Are you going to be buying it when it arrives on day one and online, or are you going to be staying away from it? If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And remember to subscribe if you guys are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA 5 casino news, info, videos, and more. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.